But what she saw frightened her so much. As she entered Isioma's compound, she saw Isioma chasing Chike with a wooden spatula. She had to run to hide. Many years ago, in the village of Amici, the upbringing of male and female children were different. Parents would scold their girl child to behave in a gentle and soft manner, while the boys were raised to be fierce and dominating. Anything contrary to this was seen as a demon that needed to be cast out. This was the fate of Chike, a young, calm, introverted and reserved man. From childhood, Chike has had to deal with people judging him wrongly for his personality. It was common for people to insult him and call him a woman or a weakling because he did not behave in the way the society expected him to behave. His parents would often flog him for being too soft, and his mother would not stop to remind him every day that he was a man who would get married tomorrow and head his home. Hence, he needed to be manly in actions. However, despite the strictness and toughness used to raise Chike, he still could not change his personality. Chike grew up into a fine gentleman, and when the pressure was getting worse on him to change into what he could not, he decided to leave his village and move into a new village where no one knew him. He believed starting afresh in a new environment will give him the opportunity to meet people who would understand him and accept him for who he was. Chike settled in a village called Umunede. He was a very skilled young man and soon started to make a living out of making beautiful tie and dye clothes designs. He would make the designs at home and take it to the market to sell. By doing this consistently, he attracted a lot of customers and soon began to deliver huge contracts. Isioma and Awele were two young ladies in the village who greatly admired Chike's designs. They would finally get the opportunity to own one because Awele just got engaged and would be getting married soon. They came to Chike's shop that day and proceeded to make their choices. There were so many beautiful designs on display that they got confused. Chike noticed their confusion and offered to help them. "What do you intend to use the cloth for?" Chike asked. Awele replied, "My wedding is coming up soon and I need a very beautiful cloth for that day." Chike looked around and then picked a beautiful purple color design. "Here you go. This will fit you perfectly and it's a perfect choice for a bride," Chike said, while giving the clothes to Awele. Isioma saw the design and immediately exclaimed, "Wow, this is perfect. You know, purple stands for royalty, so you will be Awele, the royal bride." Awele laughed. She paid for the clothes and they left. Awele saw Chike one evening on his way back from the market and she approached him. "Excuse me, sir," she greeted Chike. Chike felt a little awkward and told her, "My name is Chike." Awele said, "Okay, I just want to say thank you for helping me choose that wonderful design the other day. Everyone that has seen it confirms that it is unique." Chike smiled and said, "It is fine. You know, it's my business, so I know the best design for any occasion." Awele then went on to invite him to her wedding, which was coming up in 1 week's time, and Chike congratulated her, promising to attend. On the wedding day, Isioma helped Awele to get dressed and look beautiful. She was genuinely happy for her friend and wished her well in her marriage. While the ceremony was going on, Isioma saw Chike sitting quietly by himself and she walked over to him. "Hi, you came?" Chike looked up and said, Your friend invited me, so I decided to come. Isioma said, "That's nice. I'm Isioma. What is your name?" "I am Chike." Isioma then went on to serve Chike food and drinks, ensuring that he was well attended to. After the wedding, Awele left the village with her husband, leaving Isioma all alone in Umunede. Every now and then, Chike would see Isioma around, and they soon became friends. Since Chike lived alone, Isioma would always bring him food to eat, and Chike always appreciated her kind gestures. Chike's likeness for Isioma grew into love, and it didn't take long before he proposed marriage to Isioma. She was very happy and accepted. She knew Chike to be a kind and gentleman, and so she believed he would make a good husband. They soon got married and lived together happily. Isioma had come to understand the personality of Chike, and she respected it, even though sometimes she wished he was a little tough like other men. Chike, on the other hand, had noticed that Isioma had a short temper and so easily got angry, but he believed they would work their way around it and it won't be an issue. Poor Chike, he did not know that life had other plans for him. Everything changed when Isioma got pregnant 3 months after they got married. Isioma woke up one morning complaining of nausea and lethargy. She told Chike, "I don't feel okay. My body is unsettled. I feel exhausted and I even feel like throwing up. I think I have malaria." Chike looked at her with concern. "Nne, sorry about that. I think we should go to the hospital. But first, let me get bitter cola for you to chew. It will help keep the vomits down. Don't worry, you'll be fine." They went to the hospital that morning and the doctor confirmed she was pregnant. They were both very happy and started to look forward to the arrival of their baby. Suddenly, Isioma stopped doing anything in the house. Chike came back from business one evening and asked Isioma for his dinner. Isioma told him, "I didn't cook anything. I was waiting for you to come back." Chike looked at her. "Are you okay? Is anything the matter?" Isioma blurted out, "Must anything be wrong with me before I decide not to cook? I just told you I was waiting for you to come back and cook. So please go and cook. I am hungry." Chike stood up silently and went to make dinner. The next morning, before Chike went out for business, Isioma had already brought out all the dirty clothes in the house. She told Chike to wash them as she doesn't have strength. Chike looked at her and said, "I will be late for the market if I stay back to wash now. In the evening when I return, I'll wash it." Isioma would not have any of that, and so she shouted, "So you want these dirty clothes to stay here with me and smell me and my baby? If you don't wash these clothes now, you are not going anywhere." Chike was not ready for any problems, especially not from his wife, so he quietly went and washed the clothes before going out that day. And so from that day henceforth, this became Chike's reality. He would wash all the clothes before going for business in the morning, and when he came back, he would cook dinner. Isioma saw that Chike was not reacting negatively to her behavior, and so she continued to push further. Meanwhile, Chike believed that it was her pregnancy that was causing her to behave like that. He has heard that during pregnancy, some women change and start to behave weirdly, so he was not offended by what Isioma did, but he secretly prayed that it would soon end and everything returned to normal. Isioma soon got used to shouting at Chike for the slightest thing, and when Chike tells her to calm down because of her condition, she would pick up objects and throw at him. Slowly by slowly, she started to get physical with Chike. Then the worst happened. Chike had returned home that night and gone to cook dinner as usual. He served the food after cooking, but as Isioma tasted it, she spat it out. She stood up fuming with anger. Have I not told you that I don't like too much pepper in my food? So you want to kill me and my child with pepper? Chike, it will not work for you. Chike was surprised and went to taste the food. Isi, but there is no pepper in this food. Isioma slapped him hard in the face. Are you trying to say I am lying? When I say there is pepper, then there is pepper. What you should do is to go and start to cook another meal now. Chike stood there looking at her, and Isioma shouted at him, I said now. As Chike made to leave, Isioma suddenly let out a scream and held her stomach. Chike rushed over to her and asked her what the problem was. She let out a second scream, and before they knew what was happening, blood had started to drip down Isioma's leg. Quickly, Chike rushed her to the hospital, but when they got there, the doctor said that it was late and that Isioma has had a miscarriage. Chike was heartbroken. Why did this happen to them? He had looked forward to the day this child would be born. He longed to be a father. Chike went to see Isioma, who was still lying down on the bed. She was crying and Chike went to console her. It was a painful loss for them, and they needed each other now more than ever. Even though the baby was just 3 months old, the baby gave them a ray of hope before, but now that hope was shattered. Isioma was soon discharged and they went home. Chike thought their lives would go back to when they first started. But what he did not know was that Isioma had gotten comfortable bullying him around, especially since he was soft. It made it easy for her to push him around. Isioma started to make excessive demands on Chike. She would tell him to buy her expensive items, and when he did not buy them, she would nag the hell out of him and then go on to forcefully collect the money he had returned home with that evening. Whenever he came back with lesser money, she would accuse him of spending the money on girls and then go ahead to beat him. It got so bad that Chike began to dread coming home. The only place he found peace was in his shop, alone by himself. One day, Isioma was at home alone when her friend Awele came visiting. She was surprised to see Awele. It's been 2 years since she got married and haven't seen her. They hugged each other and began to catch up on old times. Isioma asked Awele what she came to do in Umunede, and Awele looked at her without saying a word. Awele, did you not hear me? What did you come back here to do? And how is that your rich husband? Awele's countenance changed, and then she said, I'm done. Isioma looked at her confused. Done how? I'm done with the marriage. I'm never going back to him. The marriage was hell for me. He would beat me at the slightest provocation. He even raped me multiple times. I couldn't deal with it anymore, so I left. Isioma looked at Awele and asked her, why was he beating you? Do you provoke him? Or maybe because you didn't give him any child. Maybe he's just frustrated. Awele cut in. I had 3 miscarriages in 2 years because he would beat me even in my pregnancy, and so I lost them all. Isioma, you don't even want to know half of what I went through. I thank God I'm here alive. How is your husband, Chike? How has marriage been treating you? Isioma replied, my dear, he is fine. We are both fine. Awele then smiled to Isioma. Do you know you are lucky? Chike is a good man, and his type is very rare to find. You are lucky to have such a man as a husband. Isioma smiled. You are right, my dear. I am really lucky. After Awele left, Isioma started to say to herself, a man beats me? Never. That can never happen. I'm glad I didn't give Chike a chance to think I am weak. I must increase my actions to make him know that I am not to be joked with. And from then on, Isioma doubled up on her maltreatment on Chike. Awele came to their house one morning and was surprised to see Chike washing the clothes while Isioma just sat on a chair doing nothing. She greeted Chike and went to meet Isioma. Isioma, what do you think you are doing? Isioma looked at Awele confused. What do you mean? Awele continued. Why is Chike washing clothes this morning instead of going to his shop, and you are here doing nothing? I hope it's not what I'm thinking. Isioma immediately got angry. Keep whatever you're thinking to yourself. What is your business with what happens in my home? Learn to stay out of my business if you still want to be my friend. Awele was shocked. Was this the same Isioma she had been friends with for long? Why would she turn Chike into a maid? She knew Chike was soft and calm, but that was not enough reason to reduce him to this. She was deeply sorry for Chike. She had to leave as she couldn't stand this kind of evil. Isioma was very angry that she called Chike inside the house and started to beat him with a wooden spatula. She blamed him for allowing Awele talk to her disrespectfully. She stopped him from going to shop that day and locked him in a room, denying him food that day. While all these things were going on, Chike could not talk to anyone. No one would even believe him because why would a woman beat a man? And so Chike continued to endure all these things silently, praying for when all this would come to an end. Unknown to Chike, Isioma was seeing another man behind him. She was even planning to elope with this man, but Chike did not know about this. Then one evening, Awele came to visit her friend Isioma to give her some advice. But what she saw frightened her so much. As she entered Isioma's compound, she saw Isioma chasing Chike with a wooden spatula. She had to run to hide to avoid being hit by the spatula. Isioma looked like an angered beast holding the spatula, and she would have killed anyone who stood by her way at that moment. Awele had to run after Chike, who had run out of the compound. She caught up with him and tried to calm him down. She took him to her house and offered him food and water. Chike was very ashamed and filled with regrets. He cursed the day he decided to marry Isioma. He thought she understood him and would give him peace, but she used his calmness against him. Later at night, Chike returned home, but he couldn't find Isioma anywhere. He only saw a note on the table written by her that read, "Dear ex-husband, I am leaving you for good. I have found a rich and strong man that knows how to take care of a woman and not a weakling like you. Don't look for me because I am never coming back again. Good riddance, Isioma." Chike was speechless. He did not know how to feel. He least expected this. Not only was she maltreating him, she was also cheating on him. Double tragedy. Chike couldn't sleep that night. He cried himself to sleep. His life had always been filled with people misinterpreting and judging him. He had to leave his own village to come here to find peace, only for him to meet his nightmare. He would never wish that even his worst enemy marries a wife like Isioma. He cried bitterly and fell asleep. For the first time in 2 years, Chike slept peacefully like a baby. He woke up the next morning, and only then did the reality dawn on him that his nightmare of a wife was gone. He had mixed feelings as he left for his shop that morning. Awele saw him on the way and asked him about how Isioma reacted last night. But Chike told her that Isioma had left him for another man. Awele felt deeply sorry for Chike and sympathized with him. She told him that she did not know that things like this happened to men also. She had also been a victim of a violent marriage, but she walked away to save her life. And here he was also going through the same thing. Life was indeed dynamic. 2 months after Isioma left, Chike received the news that Isioma was dead. Apparently, the rich man she ran off with was a womanizer, and Isioma tried to stop him and control him. But he wasn't like Chike and would not allow a woman to control him. On this day, he wanted to go out at night, but Isioma blocked his way, causing both of them to engage in a fight. The man violently pushed Isioma, and she fell on the floor and broke her head. On seeing that she was dead, the man locked her in the room, packed his bag and ran away that night. It was the strong smell that started oozing from that side of the house that made concerned neighbors to break in, and they discovered Isioma's decaying body. Chike was shocked. He felt deeply sorry for Isioma. Even though she wasn't the best of wives, she didn't deserve to die, especially not like that. Chike and Awele, having the same past, connected in a deeper way. They kicked off a relationship, and 1 year later, they got married and lived together happily and respecting each other. Today, I'll be speaking about domestic violence against men. Sadly, this is the reality of many men in their relationships. Unfortunately, many people do not believe that men can also be abused, and the men who are victims of this abuse are not bold to come out to speak for themselves. These abusers target men who have calm and gentle personality, knowing that these men would never lift up a finger in defense of themselves. However, whether it is abuse targeted towards women or targeted towards men, none is good, and this video is meant to create that awareness, especially for violence targeted towards men. If you are lucky to meet a man who is calm, soft and gentle, don't use it against him. Rather, be happy because you've just got yourself a rare gem. People have different personalities, and being fierce or domineering or violent does not make a good man. Thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this story. Please share the story out to your loved ones so as to create this awareness. Also, like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel till I bring another story your way. Bye.